Hi friends, today we are here to talk about volume of cones. As you can see, I drew a nice picture of a cone and have the formula written down. If we were in class, I would first show you a video and then I would make you guys figure the formula out on your own. So I actually want you to pause the video and go to the weekly calendar and watch the video that's above this one. Because it is pretty cool, and what you would see is that a cone is actually 1/3 of a cylinder if they have the same height and radius. So that means 3 cones can fit perfectly into one cylinder. That is why the formula of a cone is exactly the same as the cylinder formula divided by 3, because it's 1/3 of that cylinder. So I'm going to take you through 4 practice problems just like yesterday. Go ahead and get a piece of paper out and just work through the problems with me. Try to pause the video, stay a step ahead, all that good stuff, and here we go. First problem is drawn here, my Picasso of a drawing. I'll sign autographs later. So let's go ahead and find the volume of this cone that has a radius of 5 and a height of 9, okay? So I'm trying to find the volume. I am not being told anything about pi, so that means you have the option of either using the pi button on your calculator, which, by the way, I do recommend using a calculator for volume units because you end up many times with numbers that are not whole, and that would just get really messy. Anyways, so we are finding the volume. I'm going to use 3.14 instead of the pi button, just because my little calculator on the side doesn't have one. R is 5, height is 9, and since this is a cone, I have to divide by 3. So let's go ahead and solve it. We're going to simplify everything on the top, which means just multiply it all. So I have 3.14 times 5 squared, which is 25, times 9, which gives me 706.5. And then I just have to divide that by 3, giving me a volume of 235.5. I didn't give units on this, shame on me, but make sure you pay attention because if they do give you units, you want to put them, okay? So that would be the volume of this cone. That is how much volume the cone could hold. Here's example 2. I want you to find the volume. Radius is 4. Oops, I didn't mean to say that actually. The radius is 2. My bad, you guys. Radius is 2. Height is 8. And I'm asking you to leave the answer in terms of pi. I just want you to practice that because you will see it on some worksheets. So let's go ahead and plug everything in. I have a well, first of all, I have my pi. I've got my radius of 2, and I just want to caution you guys to be careful. Make sure you're paying attention that they are, in fact, giving you the radius and not the diameter, okay? Now we are going to go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to multiply everything on the top except for the pi because I am being told to leave my answer in terms of pi. So I have 4 times 8, which gives me 32. I'm just going to write baby steps here. And then I am going to just divide 32 by 3, which gives me this crazy long decimal. If you're not asked to round to anything specific, then go ahead and just pick whatever you want to do. I usually do 2 numbers after the decimal, which would give me, I should change that equal sign to an about sign since I am rounding, 10.67 pi. And that would be my answer for that one. So when they ask you to leave your answer in terms of pi, your answer will have a pi symbol because you did everything, all the multiplying, all the squaring, all the dividing. You did everything except for times it by pi. That's what that means. All right? Here's the next problem. I am giving you the volume and the diameter and asking you to find the height. So let's go ahead and plug in what we know. We know the volume is 37.68. I'm gonna write my pi symbol. I have a radius is in the formula, and I'm being given a diameter, so I'm gonna make sure that I cut that diameter in half, 2 squared. The height is the thing I don't know, and I need to divide that by 3. So that's what my formula looks like. We're now going to work backwards in order to solve for h. In a problem like this for the cones, for the cylinders, it wasn't too tricky because you just multiply and simplify. For the cones, it's a little more difficult because we have this 3 on the bottom that we have to take care of. The way that you get rid of that denominator would be to multiply by 3 over 1. So when I do that, my 3's go away, and that's what I needed. But just make sure you do that same exact thing to the left side. So I'm going to do 3 times 37.68, giving me 40.68. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. 3 times 37.68. There you go. Make sure you're careful, unlike me. I have 113.04 equals, and then all I have left on the left side is the right side is pi times 2 squared, which I'll just simplify to 4, times h. Now I can just solve for h. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 3.14 times my radius squared, which was 4, giving me 12.56. And then the final step would be to divide both sides by 12.56. So I have a final answer of 113.04 divided by 12.56, giving me a height of 9. So my height equals 9. Make sure you label if you're given units, and that would be the height of that cone. That's how you work backwards. Let's try it one more time, but this time we'll be asked to find the radius. Alright, here's the last problem we're going to do together, guys. This time I'm given the volume and the height, have to find the radius. It's very similar to the last problem with one extra step at the very end. So let's go ahead and plug in what we know. This would be another good time to pause the video and try to solve this on your own without me. Let's go ahead and solve it. So you guys can see why I said calculators are our friends, because you are often given some numbers that are just not pretty, like this problem. Alright, I plugged in everything I knew. I'm going to go ahead and start this problem by timesing both sides by 3, because my end goal is to get r by itself, and I need to start by getting rid of this denominator. The way I do that is by timesing both sides by 3. When I timed both sides by 3, these cancel each other out, which is what I needed. Now I just need to make sure I do the same thing to the right side. I don't know why I'm mixing up my lefts and rights today. My left side is what I meant to say. So I have 3 times 174.4, giving me 523.2. 523.2. On the right side, all I've got, and I'm going to kind of shuffle things around just a little bit because I don't know why, I just like to organize my variable at the very end, so that's what it would look like now. Now I'm going to go ahead and simplify the right side as much as possible, multiplying pi times my 8.6 and giving me this number. So I've got on the left 523.2. On the right, 27 point, I'm just going to, since there's only 3 numbers, I'm just going to go ahead and write all of them instead of rounding. Final step, divide both sides by my weird number, 27.004. So, let's go ahead and divide 523.2 divided by 27.004. Giving me this 19.37. I'm rounding it because that is too long of a number. So I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places since I didn't have directions that told me anything specific. And the final step, just like on the cylinder problem, I have to undo my square that's going on here, and you do that with square rooting. So when I square root 19.37, I end up with a radius of about, because I am rounding quite a bit here, 4.4, and then I'm labeling it with centimeters. That would be my very final answer. I just want to point out to you guys, with all of the rounding that happens in these problems, let me show you different places where you could round. It is possible that you used the pi symbol instead of 3.14. It is possible that you rounded this number to a whole number. It's possible that you rounded this number to a whole number. And then it's possible that when you divide, I'm going to show you actually. Check out this step where I do 523.2 divided by 27.004. If I, instead of erasing my calculator and then typing in 19.37, if I just pushed square root, my answer, actually, that was a bad example because even when I round this, it's going to be the same thing. But every little difference that you make, like if you would have used this right here and square rooted exactly that instead of rounding it, all of those places are going to change your final answer slightly. So what I want to point out to you, and the reason I'm saying all this is because when you look at an answer key for a unit like this with the volume, your answers might be slightly off by like 0.10 or I don't know, even 0.20. And that's okay because we're rounding differently. We're using pi buttons. We're not using pi buttons, all that kind of stuff. And that is totally fine. So unless you are specifically told how to round and which buttons to use, your answers are going to be a little bit different, and you have to just be okay with that for this volume unit, okay? That's volume of cones. Good luck on your practice worksheet. I miss you guys so much. I hate teaching in my empty living room to Layla. She doesn't care about volume of cones. She cares even less than I think you guys would if we were sitting in class. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.